Okay, so this video is called Yoga Holidays Are Bullshit, and I'm going to make a case against the yoga holiday. I'm not sure if I'm totally convinced by this myself, but I think it needs to be said because I just don't hear anyone else saying it. It's sort of become normal, the yoga holiday. The main reason for that is twofold. One, it's that yoga teachers like holidays in nice places themselves. I totally get that, I'm with you. Who doesn't want to fucking go to Bali, right? The other one is economic. Often yoga teachers, say in London or New York, struggle to make a living from their daily classes. It's really not very well paid, yoga, in most classes. So they either have to do teacher training, just economically, this kind of pyramid scheme, or they do yoga holidays in order to finance, they can make more profit off them, essentially. So that's the economics, if you're not a yoga teacher and weren't aware of that. So it's really driven people into doing these yoga holidays. Also this idea that yoga's exotic. Yoga comes from India and there should be palm trees and special white flowing robes. Yeah, so I would challenge that idea. Like, yoga is just about being, right? It's about union, and that's union with yourself, with your world. I mean, central Moscow, I'm looking at a traffic jam over there right now. Like, if I can't do my yoga while walking home through that traffic jam, or when I'm in Brighton, and there's like seagulls and football fans and whatever it is, like who cares about your yoga if you can't do it in daylight? Of course you can fucking be calm when you're laying on a beach in Goa, or this idea that you need to be in a special, beautiful place. And I get it. It's nice to be in an aesthetic environment. This yoga studio I use because it's a pleasant place. We do workshops here too. And that can be nice, and sometimes that's helpful. So, I'm not totally against yoga holidays, but if we need that special place, if we need this idea that it has to be exotic, we've kind of fetishized yoga and we've kept it away from our actual lives, yeah? So it's not so much a holiday, what do they call it? A staycation is also a good idea. I did several months of yoga, just all the classes in my town and in my house, and it was brilliant because it was really like in the place where I live. So when I stopped that staycation, I still had the learning from that place was much easier transferred because it wasn't going from like palm trees to my computer. I was reading books on yoga next to where I work. I was doing it in my living room where I hang out with my partner, so it was much easier transfer. And yes, you perhaps wished I'd spent the money going to the palm trees as well. So I get it, guys, okay? The other thing is holiday and education. Like, I'll give you an example. So about 10 years ago, I started doing meditation retreats. I normally do 1 or 2 a year as a way to deepen my practice. And at first I thought, oh, that's a holiday, right? And after 2 or 3 of them, I was like, this isn't a holiday, this is really hard work. And then I started also booking a holiday every year. So I do a yoga retreat, but then later in the year, I do like a beach holiday, like a classic Mallorca or whatever beach holiday. Where did I go this year? Bulgaria. Anyway, so they're different. They're different things. So in the same way as a good retreat where you're really learning and confronting your soul and working on your practice, yes, some aesthetics and ease around that can be helpful, but it's basically hard work, right? If it wasn't hard work, it wouldn't be called a practice, it would just be just life, right? Like, whatever. In the same way as you can ruin a retreat by making it too much holiday-like, and when I see people sort of squaffing wine on yoga holidays, I think, is that really helping your awareness? I mean, I don't want to get like too uptight and pure about it, but really, there's a danger either way, right? Yeah, so I think you can ruin a retreat that way, but you can also ruin a holiday. Like when I'm on a holiday, I just want to chill, I just want to eat good food and have sex and sleep in and, do holiday shit. And I think this sort of mixing of the two ends up doing neither very well. Now, it depends what you mean by holiday. Some, it's like hardcore practice in a nice place. Some people, it really is more of a holiday. And I will admit that sometimes taking the pressure off and having a middle ground can be helpful. So again, don't hear this as extreme as the title is. I'm really just thinking out loud with this. So what else? So we've got the transfer issues, we've got the ruining a good holiday and ruining a good retreat issue. They're basically going in 2 different directions. You can't chase 2 rabbits at once, right? Lastly, what about the environmental impact? So I'm someone who flies quite a lot for work, and I'm not too happy about that, and I'm actually cutting down on that and changing my business to cut down on that. I deliberately, accept more jobs that I can get to on train, for example. However, the yoga teachers don't, basic ahimsa, non-violence 101, seem to be encouraging large groups of people to massively increase their carbon footprint, right? And you might say, well, they're going to go on holiday anyway, but blah, blah, blah. That's like an arms dealer saying someone's going to sell them the gun, so it might as well be me, right? is it ethically responsible to encourage people to travel many long distances by plane? One reason I just cut down the number of modules on a course I do is because I know people come to England for it, and I thought, okay, there's less flights if we cut down the modules and do some work online. That was one reason for that. So I think being responsible in terms of climate change, in terms of discouraging large numbers of places like India and Thailand and Bali, they're a long way away for where the client's coming from. And I don't know how ethical that is, if I'm honest. And people that, recycle and are green and then just do this, I know teachers who do it like 10 times a year. That's a hell of a lot of students flying around the world, and their responsibility for that. A bit controversial, and I'm a bit of a hypocrite with that in terms of my own travel schedule, but I think there is something different between one person traveling and then encouraging a whole load of other people to travel. I think it's way better that the yoga teacher travels to the groups of people environmentally. That just makes more sense to me. So yeah, there's a few thoughts on yoga holidays. Maybe I'm just jealous. Maybe I'm going to end up doing retreats in Bali next year and having to take this video down so I don't seem like an awful hypocrite. And if you're on a yoga holiday watching this, just enjoy it. Don't hear this as enjoy it. We all need a holiday as well. But there's a few thoughts on yoga holidays because I just don't see anyone else challenging it, and I think it needs to be challenged. I feel like I've missed something, so if I have, then put it in the comments. And if you're, angrily texting me from your mobile phone made by a small Chinese child while sitting on a beach in Goa, then feel free to be morally indignant about this video. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, you can subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. More importantly, however, get the newsletter. So the newsletter you do, is that right? In the box here? Okay. So why you would want the newsletter, so you hear about the best videos, so you actually ask me questions, you can reply to the newsletter, I'll reply. You can hear about events, teacher trainings, other things that are happening, and stay in touch more reliably. So newsletter there.